So I'm doing the interview portion before I do all of the research. So I want to start with like what I think of plastic now, and then kind of come back and then revisit like what I think of plastic and how I think that it could like really change my opinion and like view of, or really like how I want to change my lifestyle around plastic. So let's just jump right on in. The first question is, can you recall the amount of plastics used in a single day? Honestly, no. I know that like my glasses, for example, they are made of plastic and I can't see my face anymore now that I've taken them off. So these are 100% a reusable plastic that I use every day. And then of course like my phone case on my phone and my pop socket, so that's like a solid 3. And then toothbrush, toothpaste, hairbrush, deodorant. I'm just gonna guess like maybe 35 things, and it's probably way off. Also, especially because I work at a drugstore, and the majority of products that we sell are in plastic. So it's quite a lot. And then also my knowledge of recycling. I don't know a lot. I'm gonna be real honest. Probably the amount of knowledge that I have regarding plastic is what you were taught in 3rd grade. It's like I try my best to like not litter and all of that. Like I want to make sure that things go into the garbage. Whether the garbage is recycling or not, I don't really know, nor do I really care, if I'm being completely honest. My thing is that I'm not being a litter bug. So, is it important to recycle? Probably. Not even probably, like yes, because otherwise you have these gigantic landfills everywhere. If we want to protect our environment, which it seems like we're like really trying to gear towards that, then we definitely do need to do more of that recycling. How is paper and plastic sorted? To my knowledge, you just put the paper in the paper bin, and then you put the plastic in the plastic bin, and the recycling people come pick it up, and then they have their fun. And then what happens at a recycle center? I really don't know. My best guess is that the plastics are probably like melted down into maybe like sheets of plastic somehow, or like if they're decomposable plastics, I guess like they just decompose them and reuse them into like different things. I really don't know what happens at a recycling center. And the current state of recycling now, as a country, I know that the West Coast is very, very like recycle friendly. As far as like the Midwest and the East Coast goes, I feel like it's not as much of a priority. It's definitely a priority in cities. I know that in Atlanta, I believe we have to recycle. Actually, no, we don't. We don't, which is really weird. In my hometown, though, we had to recycle, and it was like a really small town in North Carolina. We had to recycle if you lived in city limits, but if we didn't, then it was just kind of our choice. So I know that some places are like more recycle friendly as opposed to others. As far as like my current state of recycling, if I think about it, I will, but like it's not a huge priority. Opinion on plastic bags and alternatives. I'm assuming like that's the stores. I think that there are a lot of alternatives. I know that Trader Joe's does, and Whole Foods. They'll do paper bags. And it was funny. I went to go to Washington State when I graduated high school, and if you like, it didn't matter where you were. We went to Walmart, and if you didn't have a bag that you brought yourself, they charged you. I want to say it was like either 10 cent or 25 cent to get plastic bags. Like for each plastic bag there was a fee that you had to pay, which they're serious about their recycling, which I think is, again, like I think that's a really great way to deter people from using plastic and from like needing bags. It's a great way to encourage people to bring their own if you don't want to budget for having to have plastic bags. Me personally, I was raised to just like reuse the plastic bags that you get. Like we have a whole entire cabinet full of just like random plastic bags from like Target, Walmart, like wherever we are. So like I will reuse it in that sense, but as far as like what happens afterwards, I just throw it away. So I'm probably defeating the purpose, but it does get reused for just a little bit of its life, which is, I think, progress. And then what happens to a plastic item when no longer in use? I'm assuming for the most part a lot of it just gets put into a landfill and it gets really stinky and it's just an eyesore. that's the main piece, like the fact that it does so negatively affect our environment. It does make me, like, the more that I think about it, the more it does make me want to do more of like a zero waste situation. But again, like, it does take a lot of effort and a lot of like consciousness around like what you're using. I don't know. So I guess at the end of this project I will know, and I will be able to kind of come back and hit on some of these same points and hopefully have a much more educated view. And also I feel like this is going to make me go from 0 to 100 really quick as far as like what I use and wanting to be more conscious of my plastic use. So we shall see.
Plastics have become such an entrenched part of our lives. But what exactly is plastic? And how is it made?
90% of products in the US have some sort of plastic component, things we don't even think about. Plastic went from being a natural product to being synthetically and widely produced. But how is it made? Well, the first step is extraction from crude oil and natural gas. It is sent to refineries that can be as long as 1,000 feet. Oil spills can be a result of having to travel so far and can have both immediate and long-term environmental effects. At the refinery, oil is processed into different types of fueling chemicals, two of which are ethane and propane. These chemicals are sent to a cracker plant to be broken down into smaller molecules. Ethane becomes ethylene, and propane becomes propylene. A catalyst is then added to create polymers called resins. This allows plastics to be easily molded and shaped, especially under heat. Plastic is part of our daily lives, and we can make some incredible memories with items that have plastic components. But it's incredibly easy to have fun without thinking of the consequences that come. The aftermath of music festivals can leave an actual layer of garbage on the ground, but thankfully, volunteers with groups like Clean Vibes are around to help clean up afterwards. Unfortunately, that isn't the case with trash on a day-to-day basis. So, what happens? Unfortunately, most products will end up in a landfill. As plastic sits, they're being compressed amongst layers of junk. Rainwater flows through the waste and absorbs the water-soluble compounds it contains, some of which are highly toxic and create a harmful liquid called leachate. This substance can move into soil, groundwater, and streams, ultimately poisoning ecosystems and harming wildlife. So, if your trash doesn't end up in a landfill, where else can it go? Simply put, the ocean.
He looks like the captain of this garbage boat.
More accurately put, not just a garbage boat, but the trash island. And unfortunately, removing said trash island isn't as simple as Stewie bringing it back to the US. But Family Guy did get one thing right. It is actually that large, and there isn't just one. There are 5. Their correct name is plastic gyre, and more commonly known as the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. It turns the water into cloudy plastic soup. This is footage of one of the 5. Pretty gross, right? Marine animals like seabirds get entangled in the mess because they mistake the brightly colored bits for food. Plastic makes them feel full, so they end up starving to death and pass the plastic higher up along the food chain. Fun fact, most plastics don't biodegrade, so they'll just break down into smaller and smaller pieces and eventually become microplastics, which will more than likely stay in the ocean eternally. So don't be like these guys. So what can we do? For starters, we can begin reusing plastic. This group of women like to crochet plastic bags into blankets that can be given to the homeless. It helps retain heat, protects them from rain or wet surfaces, and it's extremely lightweight and portable. Not to mention this is a long-term use for these plastic bags. Another thing we can do is support companies like 4Ocean. This specific company will remove 1 pound of trash from the ocean per 1 bracelet bought. The bracelets are made from recycled ocean materials, and the mission is funded solely on the bracelets that are sold. Lastly, we can flat out refuse using single-use plastic. This is one woman's zero waste essentials. She carries things such as stainless steel straws, bamboo cutlery, cotton produce bags, a reusable napkin, and a glass jar with a lid for whatever her day may bring. Like grabbing coffee. Making easy, affordable choices like these can help reduce the amount of single-use plastic we use on a daily basis. Not to mention, at the store, unpackaged items are typically cheaper, so in the long run, you'll be saving money as well as the environment. So we have finally ended the journey of learning more about plastic. First of all, wow, there's quite a lot that I didn't know about. I didn't even know that plastic came from oil, which is pretty interesting to me. I don't know where I thought the plastic came from, but just the fact that it came from oil for some reason just it was really, really throwing me. So since the start of all of this, I'm looking at different things that could be alternatives to plastic, and I think that I think that it could be a possibility for me to really try and be mindful about my plastic usage, and then also try to figure out ways to not use plastic. Just because in the long run, I feel like that would be cheaper than just buying recycled plastic or environmentally friendly plastic. It's just a lot easier to just buy plates and use plates and to just get some mason jars and put spices and stuff in that instead of just buying regular whatever spices they come in plastic. It's also really interesting to me that 90% of everything that we use is made of plastic. And so too, whenever I go to music festivals and stuff, as I made very clear, I really enjoy going to music festivals. Finding things using, if I want to use glitter for just body art, then using it, what is it? It's decomposable glitter, or eco-friendly glitter, and instead of just using regular glitter, which is made from plastic. And also, making sure that my campsite is picked up the best that I can. And we did that this year. The first year, I'll just go ahead and say we left a couch, which is obviously not okay. This year we did a really good job of cleaning up our campsite because I didn't want to repeat what we did last year. And then I guess next year I could even go as far as help. I could help out my camp neighbors pick up their trash and make sure that the recyclables are in the recyclable, and that the just regular garbage that can't be recycled is in, to use the white trash bag. Another thing that I could do is trying really hard to not eat as much fast food, and then also not eating as much stuff that's prepackaged. I'm a really big fan of the TV dinners just because it's really easy, and sometimes you can get them for fairly cheap. And you can only really do as much as you can. You can't just break the bank on doing all of this stuff at once. So figuring out a way to ease into it, I think, would be a really good way to, at the very least, start trying to care about the environment more than I already do. Because like I said, I was very uneducated before we started this whole process, and I have learned a great deal. So I will say thank you for the topic to research on and better a class. Probably one of my biggest mind-blowing moments was learning that there are actual trash islands. Whenever I watched the episode of Family Guy, I didn't know that was an actual thing, and there's not one, but there are five. That is really, it blows my mind. I'm probably gonna invest in some bamboo cutlery, getting a couple sets of those, so that way I don't have to wash the same set and use that every single day. I could at least have a couple or maybe 3. Also doing the mason jar thing. It's something that's easy to implement, and I can do it fairly easy, cost effectively, and I can even make it cute. I like things to look cohesive, and for it to look, custom to what I like, I think is fun. The only thing that's going to be really hard is giving up soda, which honestly I have been working on getting rid of that. Anyways, so just another reason to get rid of doing soda, like unless it comes in a glass bottle, which thank God Coke best. And then also too, like paying attention to different like plastics that I do have to use. So like my hair products, specifically my conditioner for my blue hair. I know that A Good Dye Young, Haley really cares about a lot of stuff, the environment being one of them. So I know that her products are going to be like vegan friendly, eco-friendly, all of the friendlies. And just, you know, trying to find things that are more natural anyways, because it's gonna treat my body well and it's also gonna treat the environment well, which I really like. So with that, I think that's all I've got. Again, really great idea for a class project. I don't know how to end this, so I guess I'm just gonna really try hard to not use as much plastic, and also the plastic that I do use, I'm gonna really try to make sure that I know what's happening to it after I use it. So thanks, hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.